Welcome to this special episode of the Central District Hoops Report. I'm your host, Justin Griffiths, and I say this is a special episode because we do not have games from the Saturday slate just because of the snowstorm that hit, again, central Illinois and southern Indiana. It caused all the Saturday games to get postponed to either Monday night. One is still yet to be determined, and Kaskaskia's game got postponed to Sunday night. So with all that being said, I just have Wednesday's slate of games to go over, but I still want to get that video up and going because I don't know when will be a good time to record and still have information that is relevant when we get into the midweek games, because now, since the postponement to Monday, now we got games on Monday, we got games on Wednesday, and we got games on Saturday. So it's just going to be a long week next week, and but shorter video today. So sit back and enjoy, and let's jump into the first game of John A. Logan versus Kaskaskia. And the first game up is Kaskaskia against John A. Logan. The final score of 96-64 doesn't really say the whole game. John A. Logan jumped off to a fast start in this ballgame. They led from opening tip to final horn. However, late into the first half, Kaskaskia was able to cut it down to single digits at one point, and at the halftime score was 41-30. In the second half, Logan was just able to pull away, scoring 55 points in the half and holding Kaskaskia to 34 for the final score of 96-64. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some stats. Starting with the Blue Devils, they shot 24 of 68 from the field, good for 35.3%. They only hit one three-pointer the entire game, and again, that is going to kill you when you go on the road against these type of opponents. You cannot be shooting 7% from the three-point arc. Logan, on the other hand, was 38 of 69, good for 55.1%. They were just on fire all game long. It didn't matter if it was inside the arc, outside the arc. Nothing that they did could go wrong. Obviously, the rest helped them in that case. I did wonder if it was going to be rust or rest. It turned out to be rest for the Volunteers. They were 13 of 28 from behind the arc, good for 46.4% from the field. Both teams Logan did not shoot that many free throws as well. Kaskaskia was 15 of 26. Again, if you're going to win ball games, you can't leave 11 points there. In this case, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference with a huge margin there, but in closer games, obviously, you want to make all your free throws. Logan only took 7 free throws the entire game and made 7 of them. Rebounding battle, Logan dominated this 45-33. What I saw in that game was complete domination by Logan on the boards, both offensive and defensive. In turnover battle, it was close, 13-14 in favor of the Blue Devils. But again, when you take on a team like John A. Logan, who's a year or so away or removed from being national champions, you have a coach over there in Logan that has won a national championship. You got to be able to compete in both the rebounding battle and the turnover battle. You were able to get half that battle done, but not in the rebounding, and you shot poorly from the field. Let's go ahead and look at some individual stats. First, for Kaskaskia, Jared Mackey was the leading scorer for the Blue Devils, 10 of 21 from the field, 7 of 9 from the foul line. He had 2 steals to go along with 2 turnovers and 28 points. He could not be stopped. However, he is the only Blue Devil in double figures starter-wise. Terrence Hall did get close. He was 3 of 8 shooting from the field. Also didn't miss his free throws. Had 4 rebounds to go along with 3 assists and 4 steals. He finished with 8 points. Clemmy Chandler was 7 of 8 shooting from the field off the bench for Coach Hancock's team. He had 8 rebounds, 6 of them being defensive. But again, you see Jared Mackey had 6 defensive rebounds as well. Those two were the only ones that were able to get on the defensive glass. Logan just outmaneuvered them and outpowered them. But Chandler finished with 16 points. Logan, on the other hand, they only had one starter in double figures as well. That was Caden Hawkins, who was 5 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from behind the arc, and had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Good for 15 points. Jaden Miles was close to being in double figures off of a 4 of 6 shooting performance and grabbing 3 rebounds, 2 assists as well. He finished with 9. Devarius Lowry was 3 of 7 from the field, had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and had 8 points. Again, close, but not in double figures. For Coach Smith-Peters, he did have 3 players off the bench that did get in double figures, starting with Darkel Payne, who was 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, grabbing 4 assists to go along with it. He finished with 11 points. Denane Rutger was 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, had 5 rebounds, 4 of them being on the defensive side of the ball, and finishing with 13 points there. Finally, you had Xavier Zubrick, who, again, he's been good for Coach Smith-Peters, 6 of 8 shooting from the field, 8 rebounds, and finishing with 12 points there. Again, Logan able to pick up the district win here. They moved to 2-1 on the season. Again, they are playing tonight for their Saturday game that got postponed till tonight. So they are in action tonight, and then they will be in action on Wednesday and Saturday. This next game, Olney needed to call the fire marshal as they had over 230 points scored in this ball game, and in the first half alone, 111 points were scored. No, that's not a typo, as Lakeland wins the game 125-106. It was 60-52 at the half. This game did not get delayed as both teams were relatively close campus-wise, so it was able to go off without a hitch. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these stats. It was a phenomenal ball game all the way around for both teams. Both Coach Levina and Coach Larry should be applauding themselves. Coach Larry obviously gets the win here, but Olney Central, they looked a whole lot better than they have in previous games. The rest really helped them. They were 37 of 70 from the field, 13 of 28 from behind the arc, and 21 of 30 from the foul line. They win the rebounding battle 38-28. They lose the turnover battle 13-8. On the flip side, Lakeland was 50 of 80 from the field, 62.5% from the floor in total. They were 7 of 20 from behind the arc, good for 35%, and 18 of 20 from the foul line. I mean, again, you needed the fire marshal in Olney for this ball game. And let's go ahead and look at some stats, starting with the Lakeland Lakers. They were led by Samuel Hinkapai. I knew this guy was coming up. He played well in the second half of the year last year, so look forward to this happening again throughout the year. He was 10 of 12 from the field, 6 of 7 from the foul line, had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. He finished with a team high in starters with 26 points. Peyton Weimer also had double figures, also had 20 points off of a 9 of 16 shooting performance, 6 rebounds, an assist, and 4 steals. But there were 2 other players in double digits starter-wise for Lakeland. They were Stevie Tatum and Devin Woods. Woods was 6 of 11 shooting from the field, had 7 assists and 2 steals, finishing with 14 points. Tatum had 3 of 7 from behind the arc. He was the only starter to net a tray. He had 5 defensive rebounds out of his 6, and he had 6 assists to go along with a steal. He finished with 15 points. Off the bench, it was Sean Dekonovich leading the way for the Lakers. All 3 of the Lakers that got into the ballgame scored double digits here. Dekonovich was 10 of 13 from the field, grabbed 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and had 2 blocked shots. He finished with 23 points. Feta Kukul was 5 of 6 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, had 5 assists, and finished with 15 points. And Denham Leslie, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and finished with 12 points. For Coach Larry's Lakers, again, this team shot the lights out of the gym. Both these teams had no rust coming up from the Christmas holiday. But it was just amazing to watch this game be played at the normal time and to not see any rust from both these teams. For Olney Central, they had 5 players in double figures, 4 of them being in starters, all led by this man right here, Jaleel Bethay. He was 10 of 20 from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc. Had 2 defensive rebounds out of his 3 total. He had 4 assists. He finished with a team high and a game high 33 points. Kesem Nash was 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 8 from behind the arc. Like I said, Olney as a team was on fire from behind the arc. He had 1 rebound to go along with his 21 points. Logan Webb, 5 of 16 shooting, not the greatest shooting performance, but he was also 3 of 9 from behind the arc. He did get a double-double with 10 rebounds and 4 assists. He finished with 16 points. And finally, the last starter for Coach Ledvina's team was Javon Jones. He was 6 of 8 shooting from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Had 10 rebounds as well, 7 of them being defensive, 3 of them being offensive. Had 2 assists to finish with 14 points. And Cristobal Vargas came off the bench for the Blue Knights, shooting 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, 4 of 6 from the foul line, grabbing 5 assists and 3 rebounds to go along with his 11 points. Again, both teams should have their heads held up high from this game. It was a knockout, drag-out type fight. Like I said, this had to set some type of records when it came to district play points being put up. I know over in Kansas there are some teams that are able to put up these types of points on a nightly basis. It's not as common over here in District 16 in the Central District, however you want to say it. So this game was fun to watch. I'm so happy that this game got played at its regular time and it wasn't delayed at all. With that being said, Lakeland now moves into a tie for the league for the moment at 2-0. We still have Vincennes' game to recap and see if it is a Vincennes leading by a half a game or if they are shared for the lead for the Lakers. Let's go ahead and put this game to bed as well. I said it in the last week's episode. Lincoln Trail versus Shawnee game got postponed till February 12th. So no game here. Lincoln Trail, again, looking to continue to be one of the top players in the league. Shawnee is currently tied with Vincennes in Lakeland for one of the top spots in the league. Again, still need to go over Vincennes' game against SWIC, but right now it's Vincennes, Shawnee, and Lakeland on top at 2-0, with the Vincennes game still to be determined in this video. But again, it would have been an interesting game to see how Lincoln Trail bounced back from the Vincennes game. We'll find out in February. But again, this game did not happen in general. And the final district matchup game between Vincennes and Southwestern Illinois in Belleville was an interesting one to say the least, as Vincennes was able to lead from opening tip to final horn. They led as many as 42-29 at the break, able to extend it a little bit further in the second half for the final score of 82-59. And again, winning in Belleville is hard enough. Winning the way Vincennes was able to handle their business, and SWIC is feat beyond measure. Coach Harrington's team is always tough in that gym because they're defending their coach's name on that floor. And I have all the respect in the world for SWIC. So I always grit my teeth when I see this type of matchup for the Trailblazers. But again, this year it was a little bit different story. SWIC was 18 of 57 from the field compared to Vincennes' 25 of 53. So Vincennes shot it a little bit better. From the three-point arc, Vincennes was 4 of 9 shooting. They're not a huge three-point shooting team. They can knock it down if they need to, but they would rather go through the middle of the paint. while SWIC was 4 of 23, good for 17.4% from behind the arc there. The biggest thing for Vincennes is they left 11 points, on the free throw line of 28 of 39. SWIC was 19 of 25. The rebounding battle, Vincennes won 39 to 26. However, they did turn the ball over 15 times to SWIC's 12. And once again, in Coach Franklin's post-game show with Dave Hunter, he said that they needed to clean that up. He wants them under 10, which is about where SWIC was. So if you're right around this mark for a team, you're doing everything right. But again, Vincennes led from opening tip to final horn, and they show that they are getting ready for a potential run to Hutch. Definitely a run to Ina. Let's go ahead and look at the individual scores for the Trailblazers first. They were led by Brian Aknu, was 4 of 6 from the field, finishing with 10 points, had 8 rebounds, 6 assists to go along with 2 block shots. Michael Cooper, again, he's still hobbling a little bit. He was 2 of 7 from the field, 9 of 13 from the foul line. He had 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals, finishing with 13 points. LeBron Thomas, who was an All-American last year, 0 of 3 shooting. All of his 9 points came from the free throw line. However, he did lead the team in rebounds with 8, all of 8 of them being on the defensive side of the ball, and had 6 assists to go along with 2 steals and a block shot. He finished, like I said, with 9 points. And Kenaz Achogwu was 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 1 of 2 from the foul line, 3 rebounds to go along with 13 points. The bench for Coach Franklin's team was led by Jalen Calloway. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal to go along with 15 points. And Travell Bryson was 3 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from the foul line, had 5 rebounds on the defensive glass, had 6 rebounds total. He finished with 10 points as well. All around, even scoring for the Trailblazers as they were able to pick up a huge victory in Belleville once again. For the SWIC Blue Storm, Matthew Kerperu LZ was 4 of 10 from the field, the only player in double digits starter-wise for the Blue Storm. He was 5 of 6 from the foul line, had 5 defensive rebounds out of his 7, had 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 block shots. He finished with 13 points. Bennett Briles was close to being in double figures for Coach Harrington. He was 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from the foul line, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 block shots to go along with it as well. He finished with 9 points. Dalton Hicks was the last Blue Storm player in double figures. He came off the bench to lead the way for SWIC. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. He finished with 12 points. And again, it's just really weird to see this type of game in Belleville. Both teams really like to grind it out. SWIC normally is able to do so on their home floor. And the last game on the slate was between Wabash Valley and Rend Lake College. This was a conference game, not a district game. That's why I said the Vincennes SWIC matchup was the last matchup of the district slate. Wabash Valley was able to hold on and pull out a big-time win of 69-66 against the Warriors of Rend Lake in Ina. They actually trailed at the half of 39-32 and was able to outscore the Warriors 37-27 to start to finish out the second half. Unfortunately, I say this, I do not have any stats for this ball game for Wabash Valley. Again, I thought I would have had stats up by now, or the NJCAA would have had stats up by now. So this game is a little bit harder for me to dissect. Let's go ahead and see if Dave Hunter has anything for us. Just looking at this. And we see all this. and we do have something. Wabash Valley picked up a road win at Rend Lake, 69-66, like I said. Kevin Anthony led Wabash Valley with 15 points. Cole Furlow finished with 11 points, and Tyrone Grigsby had 11. For Rend Lake, it was Zeke Wilson had 16 points in the first half and finished with 28. He meshed 3 threes to go along with it. Elijah Edoza and Roland Adams scored 11 points each for Rend Lake. And again, Rend Lake led 39-32 at the break. Wabash Valley was able to come up and pick up a huge victory, come behind victory for this game. And again, just a interesting game between Wabash Valley and Rend Lake, as we see that there is no stats for Wabash Valley, so I have to just go off of what Dave Hunter was able to provide for us, and it's interesting to see. So, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that's what I have to deal with when I don't have any stats to go off of. I can only make this so long. So, yeah, Wabash Valley is able to pick up a conference win, and they hold at 1-1 in district play. So with the recap being done, let's go ahead and jump into the Wednesday and Saturday previews, starting with Wabash Valley and Olney Central. This game is originally scheduled for Wednesday the 15th. I believe that is still on track. I don't think there's a lot of weather heading our way. So, again, weather being the factor here, if they get the game off or not, I think that they would. This should be a very interesting game because Olney Central was able to put up 100 points on Lakeland, and Wabash Valley is coming off of a huge conference win against Rend Lake in a come-behind victory. And then they're coming off of a short rest against Lincoln Trail on Monday. So they should be in good shape. I'm more worried about Wabash Valley's game on Saturday against Kaskaskia with 3 games in 5 days. But we will be able to see. I do think Wabash Valley does pick up the win here. Move to potentially 3-1 on district play. Again, whatever happens tonight against Lincoln Trail is the big kicker here. But again, Olney Central is playing really good basketball at the moment. So I want to put it past them if they do pick up a win. I just don't see it happening Wednesday night. Up next is SWIC versus John A. Logan, played on Wednesday night. It will be interesting because the Olney Central SWIC game has been postponed, and there is no update on when that game should be played, while John A. Logan is playing their Saturday postponement game on Monday. So again, like Wabash Valley, John A. Logan is coming off of a game on Monday. Then Wednesday against SWIC here. It is in Belleville, so I do give SWIC points for that. Again, Coach Harrington Court, so it should be a very interesting game there. With the way Logan has been playing, even in their loss against Vincennes, it's hard to pick against the Volunteers, to be honest with you. I think this game might be within 10 to 15 points in favor of Logan. Would I be absolutely shocked and flabbergasted if SWIC pulled out a surprise win here? No. With that being said, do I think they will? No, unfortunately not for SWIC. And again, it's just one of those things where you have John A. Logan playing really good basketball, SWIC coming off of a loss, and then not being able to play again immediately afterwards, so they're still reviewing that. Now, with that being said, their legs are going to be a little bit fresher for the game against Logan, and that's why I say I give them a little bit more points that way, and it being at Belleville. So I'll say it might be within 10 points, and it's going to be really close in the first half, but I just have the Vols picking up the victory here. Up next, we have the Lakeland Lakers taking on the Shawnee Saints in Utlin, Illinois. Shawnee will be coming off of a game against Vincennes in Vincennes, and then turning around and playing another team that's on top of district standings in Lakeland. So it should be a very, very interesting 2 games here for the Saints. With that being said, again, Lakeland being a huge being able to put up huge numbers against Olney Central. Again, 125 points. That's bananas in this league. I think it might be within a couple of possessions each way. I will give the edge to Shawnee just for the fact that it is a home game for the Saints. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers come in and put up another 70, 80 points. Both these teams like to run and gun it. So it's whoever is going to be able to break down in their defense and get a stop here and there is going to control the tempo of the game. With that being said, I just think that with it being a home game for the Saints, that they have the edge there. And this game's going to be very interesting between Kaskaskia and Lincoln Trail. Lincoln Trail would be playing their first game since December 14th on Monday, January 13th, when they play the makeup game against Wabash Valley. And then they got to go back home and defend home court against Kaskaskia. For the Blue Devils, I see this being a very must-win game here. A little bit of revenge game maybe, because this is the first time these two teams are seeing each other since that district playoff game where Lincoln Trail went into that game 0-16 and was able to pull off a major upset to head to Ina to play in that district tournament. Kaskaskia obviously has this game circled for a reason. The fact that it's on Lincoln Trail's home floor might be a little bit more revenge for Kaskaskia. But again, this is a completely different Lincoln Trail team that the Blue Devils will be seeing. So for that reason, and the fact that it's a home game for Lincoln Trail, I think that they'll get their rust knocked off against Wabash Valley and then come back and being able to pick up a win against Kaskaskia. So I do have the Trail picking up their second district win and going 2-2 in district play for the week, as they have a conference game on Saturday. Now let's go ahead and move to Saturday's slate of games, starting with John A. Logan against Olney Central. And unfortunately for the Blue Knights, I don't see how they pick up a win here in Olney. Logan. John A. has been playing really good basketball. Again, they'll have 3 games in 5 days, so maybe that helps out Olney in the short run, but I think this really helps John A. Logan because they don't have a lot of time to think on it. They just go out there and they play basketball, and that's what Coach Smith Peters' teams do best, is they just go out there and they ball. This game being played in Carterville gives the advantage over to John A. Logan even more if they needed it. So for this one, I think it's just going to be a tough Saturday afternoon for Olney Central, and John A. Logan picks this game up by 20 points. Now let's head over to Centralia, where the Blue Devils will take on and host the Wabash Valley Warriors. In this ballgame, I just see Wabash being able to control the pace of play and being able to control their offense, their sets, and they'll be able to shoot the ball a little bit better than Kaskaskia. I think Wabash Valley does pull out a victory here. They have a tough road, but again, Kaskaskia has a tough road as well. Both a physical game and a mental game as they take on Lincoln Trail. I just see Kaskaskia falling a little bit short against Wabash Valley. Kaskaskia is looking for their first win in district play, while Wabash Valley is going to look to continue to be over 500. And if they're looking to battle for that top spot in the league, they need to pick up a win here. And I do think that the Warriors are able to do so. With that being said, I think that Kaskaskia can win it if they're just able to shoot the lights out of the gym and force Wabash Valley into a lot of turnovers. We saw against SWIC that Wabash Valley does like to be turnover happy. So it can happen. I just don't think it's going to happen in this ballgame, unfortunately, for the Blue Devils. Now we have Lakeland versus Vincennes at the top of the district play here. Again, Lakeland They have a tough week. They have John A. Logan on Monday night. They have Shawnee on Wednesday. And then they have Vincennes on Saturday. Vincennes is coming off of a little bit longer rest. They have Shawnee on Monday night. And then Wednesday's game was supposed to be their Rend Lake game, so they just have the day off in this district play. That's how Vincennes was able to work it out. So they're off Wednesday. They come in and host Lakeland on Saturday. I know Coach Franklin and Coach Davis are going to have this team ready to play. Coach Larry's going to have his team ready to go as well. Both coaches are going to be watching film from last Wednesday and Monday's games. With that being said, I think that Coach Franklin's team is going to be a little bit more prepared, and I don't think that Coach Larry's team is going to be able to put up a ton of points like they were able to against Olney Central. And this game is just going to be one of these ones where it should be very interesting to see what happens. Again, Vincennes likes to play in the paint and win off of the glass and let the turnover battle be as it is. As long as they don't turn the ball over 20 times, I like Vincennes' chances. For Lakeland, they're playing against two teams that like to run and gun a little bit in Logan and Shawnee. Definitely going to be one of those games where they are going to be tested in both those games. And then having to go against Vincennes, again, top part of the league. It's just a really tough one, but I do see Vincennes pulling out the victory here for the fact that they have a rest on Wednesday, and it's a home game for the Trailblazers, and they won't allow Lakeland to put up 100 points. And the final district game for Saturday's slate is Shawnee versus SWIC in Belleville, Illinois. This game, it's going to be a tough one for Shawnee because, again, they're coming off of a game against Vincennes and Lakeland, and then SWIC. And traveling two of those three places, it's going to be difficult. For SWIC, they have Logan in the Wednesday's slate of games. So both teams are going to be very tired. I just think that the legs on Shawnee aren't there yet. I do think that they can be. So for that reason, I do think SWIC does pick up their first district game win against the Saints. But I think it's going to be very, very close, and it's just because I think Shawnee's legs are going to eventually give out on them, and I think it's just going to happen against SWIC as it's their last game of the week. So unfortunately in my opinion, unfortunately for Shawnee, they pick up the loss, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to power through all that lactic acid in their legs and pick up a win. I just don't see it happening at this point. If this was in March, I do see Shawnee picking up the win, but since we're in January and both teams are coming off of an extended holiday break, it's just a tough matchup. And the final game on Saturday's slate is a conference game between Lincoln Trail and Rend Lake in Robinson. Again, it's going to be one of those games where if Lincoln Trail is able to push through the pain of playing 3 games in 5 days, it should be extremely fun to watch. It is against Rend Lake, and Rend Lake is playing a lot better than they did last year. However, this game is being held in Robinson. I don't think that Lincoln Trail picks up another home loss on this early in the season. So I do have Lincoln Trail picking up the victory here against Rend Lake. I do think it will be within 10 points. I think it's going to be really, really close, but I just got to give the advantage to Lincoln Trail. So there you have it. Here is the new standings as of the recording of this video. Vincennes at 3-0, Shawnee at 2-0, Lakeland at 2-0, wrapping up the top 3 spots. Then you have John A. Logan at 2-1, Lincoln Trail at 1-1, Wabash Valley at 1-1, and then the winless teams of SWIC at 0-2, Kaskaskia at 0-3, and Olney at 0-3. That's going to do it for this episode of the Midweek Central District Hoops Report. Again, with the games being played tonight. And then Wednesday and Saturday, I don't know when a good time would be for me to put up the Monday games. I don't know if I just throw everything together for next week's episode. Let me know either in the comments down below, or if you follow me on X, go ahead and follow me there at JGriffithsVU down there. But that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. Again, a little bit shorter than usual, but it's going to be it was the best I could do with all the snow that we got here in Indiana and Illinois. I will see you all in the next episode. Peace.